Hi everyone, New England Gardening here, getting ready to plant some seeds here of Echinacea purpurea. And this is a common name called coneflower. And I'm looking to plant some flowers that are going to attract bees and butterflies. I was so close to acquiring some bees this spring, even though I don't know anything about it, about bee husbandry, if that's the correct term for it. But I figured the next best thing, or I was interested in anyways, in putting out or planting some flowers that are beneficial or will attract bees and butterflies. Echinacea, that sort of rings a bell, and I guess this is also sold. I don't know if it's an extract from the roots. It's supposed to be good for the immune system, I think. I read real quick online that Indians used to use this for like burns and settling the stomach, I guess, and a lot of other natural remedies from the roots. Chewing on the roots, good for a toothache, I guess. But it's hard to find these now. I don't know if my local upscale nursery has these or Home Depot. But I bought a couple of plants on eBay. But really, you can't beat, the price of starting from seed. So this packet here has 200 seeds. I came so close to buying some bees this spring. I kept on looking, but subconsciously I kept on delaying until each website I was looking at said they're all sold out. Did find just one last holdout, I think, in my area, but I better resist because I don't know anything about taking care of bees. But I figured the next best thing is just to put out some flowers that will attract bees, butterflies, and also hummingbirds. I bought some plants that are supposed to be good for hummingbirds. So this is Echinacea purpurea. The one thing about this is it requires stratification, which is a certain period of time that you have it at pre-chill temperatures, somewhere around between 40 and 50 degrees. You want to simulate these seeds going through a winter. So the only way you can do that is, well, if you naturally seed them in the fall, they're going to go through a winter and germinate the following spring. But now what I'm going to do is put them in these cells here, and they require light also to germinate. So you just tap them in and wet them down a little bit and put them in the refrigerator for as long as 7 days. I guess 7 days really helps with the germination rate. So I might put them in there for the full week. But you just need to lightly cover them or just tap them down a little bit. And I'm going to put them in the fridge, this old refrigerator that I have in the cellar. That they don't make them like that anymore. For all practical purposes, it's been running, maybe 40 years straight, no problem. So I don't think I'll plant 200 seeds, but I'll plant a lot of these and hopefully have some nice plants to put out in a month. So they're not very small. They're a good sized seed. Those are the seeds right there. You can see that. And I guess bees, and I guess birds really like these seeds too. So really right across the spectrum there, bees, butterflies, and birds, this is a beneficial plant for it. And like I said, the roots have medicinal qualities to them. Even were used by the Native Americans. So I'm not certain, kind of waste if one doesn't germinate. Maybe put a couple in each one of these little cells here. You can always divide them or just take out the weakest plants. Yeah, so these plants, once you get to a plant size, you can pay anywhere from like $9 to $12 for these. And I do have an upscale nursery, not one of the big box store ones, and they're usually a little bit more expensive than like a Lowe's or a Home Depot. So you can either cover these lightly or just tamp them in. So let's do another one. I might go for like 3 of these trays and get a nice swath of these growing. Get rid of some of the lawn always ends up filling up with like chickweed and you know, then you have to spend money on chemicals to get rid of the weeds. And the only thing I've seen out there so far, even on the citrus, I have a Meyer lemon tree out there with some blossoms on it, are the bumblebees. I don't see any honeybees. Yeah, so the honeybees, you can either get a nucleus, which is pretty much a complete hive with brood and the queen and the workers, and I think honey and pollen maybe frames too. Those go for about anywhere from like $170 to a little over $200, $250. And if you just buy a complete setup off of Amazon, off of Amazon for the hive, the box itself, that's going to be over $400, $450 to get, you know, the main box there with the frames, and then some starter equipment, the smoker and the hat and the helmet and the netting. Although I've seen these guys on YouTube without not using any netting whatsoever, with swarms of bees around them. Pretty amazing. So another thing I noticed is I bought some butterfly bushes. I've never noticed them before. They have dwarf varieties now. One thing about butterfly bushes, the regular ones, they get really big. It can be 6 feet wide and 6 feet high, and they got a lot of dead wood in them, at least here in New England, and they get pretty ugly looking, and cut them down and they get kind of leggy, and the wood's pretty dry, and they just take up a lot of space. But I purchased a couple of these dwarf varieties off of eBay. Give them a try, see exactly what they mean by dwarf. So I'm just going to water these a little bit. So here's the old fridge here. They don't make them like this anymore. Just constantly running. The only problem is the mold is starting to attack the paint. And this is Norge Customatic. You have to defrost it, not self-defrosting. Nice antique. So I'm just going to put the trays in here and simulate a winter. And speaking of stratification, I've got these artichoke seeds that I never got around to planting. I did grow them one year, but it was too late in the season. In my zone, what you need to do is trick these into thinking they've gone through a winter. But they also need to be stratified. And I've had these stored in the refrigerator, so I'll plant them. I don't know if the last ones I did, I stored dry, and then I planted them. So I'll put a couple in these remaining cells here in this tray. This here is Opera, and this here is Imperial. And these here you have to bury 1/4 of an inch. Again, what you can do is if you plant these early, like in February, after you've chilled the seeds, then you take the plant out. You grow them inside, and if it's still cold outside, you can bring them outside to have them go through a winter, like in late or early spring, as long as it's not, 32 degrees, I guess. Just get them cold, and then they think they've gone through a winter. When it warms up, and you have a better chance of getting some artichokes for that season, at least in zone 6B that I'm in. So let me plant these seeds since I have them, and they're just getting older by the day. And I'll just water this last tray in. Speaking of attracting bees, these artichoke flowers, even if I don't get an artichoke, really attract bees from what I've seen on YouTube. The only problem is they seem to be aphid magnets, and I never got around to, again, someone mentioned, you make some diluted garlic in water. Just let that seep, I guess, and you spray that on the plant, and aphids don't like that. So I'll try that if I end up with any artichoke plants here and they get to the stage that they're maturing but attracting aphids. So that's that. I have it set on normal. I'll have to come back and check the temperature. I don't know what the normal temperature is. Should be above 30, anywhere between 35 and 40 degrees probably. So that's taken care of. Come back in a week. But let's go take a look at some plants that I recently purchased. And a new acquisition right off the truck today is Fuchsia Gartenmeister Bonstedt. And evidently this is a good plant for hummingbirds. They really like this. Oh, this one actually, I didn't notice that. This one has flowers on it. And I was thinking of putting these into pots. So these are supposed to be good for attracting hummingbirds. I already have a solution out. I want to see when I see the first hummingbird around here. I don't know if it's still too early. But yeah, so these are a couple of the plants, and again, the Echinacea I planted, and they need stratification. They need a certain amount of time simulating cold temperatures as they're going, as they would experience naturally going through a winter. It helps with the germination. I also have this bee and bird mix, I think, here. I have to start separating some of these plants here. The only thing is you don't know what varieties are. It's just a mix of seeds. So I don't know what these are here. And I also want to put a section down in the garden where I plant these seeds here, butterfly and hummingbird mix that I bought from, of course, Johnny's Select Seeds. So you probably can cover an acre with that. I think that's the smallest packet they had. So this is New England Gardening, planting some seeds that require stratification, and also going to be planting these plants that will be beneficial to bees and butterflies, and hopefully, as far as the Fuchsia Gartenmeister go. Oh, I also have the bee balm, or Moneta, Jacob Klein. Seems to be really good for attracting hummingbirds. So I'll get these in the pots. This is New England Gardening. Thanks for watching.